As principals, you are the advisors of the director. You are the advisors of the director. You know, sometimes director, because we are the infrastructural managers, we are, I don't know, the visionaries of the school, we are many things. You may lose our mind, and we call the principal and say, sasa wewe ishule inaharibika. And we put you under so much pressure. It is you who should be the buffer. Don't go to school again and do what? Tell the teachers, vile sitaletewa pressure juu yenyu, nitawamwagi. That ripple effect now mismanages the school. Sasawa, be that buffer. That's why you are paid better than all other teachers in that particular institution, so that you can be able to even see what the director has told you. Do not go and report directly in his or her anger or frustrations. You also take the same frustration, paste and what? Copy and paste. Advise the directors well. Research, collaborate with your peers, with your neighbors. And this is a very good forum, is a very good place to start with. And I think you should be having more of these so that you can share experiences. People learn best by experiences. People learn best by talking. I keep telling people that a closed mouth is a closed destiny. The moment you close your mouth, you have closed your destiny. And what you know cannot be of benefit for you until you know what to do with what you know. Tell your neighbors, what you know cannot be of benefit to you until you know what to do with what you know. Thank you. Shalom, peace, and life to you.
You know, I'm so passionate about Kpsa. Because before I left into higher education, I was the chair for Nairobi, the larger Nairobi then, which incorporated up to Kiambu. And I'm so passionate about this organization. And what Ross is doing here should not be in futility. It has to bring results. And if you are here and you paid, what was the cost of coming in for members? I get so annoyed when I see that there is members and others. That language of others, if you are here, I want to challenge you, please. Stop taking what is not yours. When the government says that we are going to pay for children for NEC examinations and others benefit, do you know that you are a robber? Did you know that you are stealing? Because the organization has negotiated for that. But you are not a member, but your school will do what? Benefit, go and challenge. And I keep telling the directors that there is no any other corruption apart from that in us. That the government has given this kind of money to us to pay for NEC, and you are still under others. The others I want to listen to is that Kpsa is now inviting public school heads, managers of schools in terms of board members, to come into our meetings, and those are the ones we can call others.
Don't come to a meeting and you don't network with anyone. Ensure that your networking is at a game. Don't live without a contact and yet you're a leader. In this, in what we do every day, we truly need to network to ensure that we address different issues that we encounter, and also for our own good and for the growth of our careers.
Good afternoon. This is Alan Victor, Top Point Educational Services, and also the sitting principal line member school Kitale.
Good afternoon. My name is Daniel Mudoka, the principal Clay International Secondary School in Makueni.
Good afternoon. My name is Sarah Wanjiko Karanja. Sitting here as one of the principals in Damacrest group of schools. Damacrest, we have a day wing, secondary school, CBE, and we also have a school, a high school also, or let me call it a senior school, boarding section. So, asanteni.
During our interaction with our head teachers when we were planning this meeting, there was a clear, outcry or issue in terms of Kpsa. Most of our teachers wanted to understand how prepared were we as schools for Kpsa that was last year. So probably I will begin with Mr. Alan Ouma. How prepared were you during the Kpsa period? And what success story do you have as regards to the assessment?
Okay, thank you. The first thing we did with our learners was to take them through the structure of the Kpsa papers so that they could understand the setting structure of each and every paper. And we want to thank the Kpsa assessments and other assessors in the country, because we were able to interact with different assessment materials that were in line with the structure that was given through the pilot papers. In addition to that, we were able to also engage the parents and make them understand the basic education curriculum framework in a manner to help with the selection of subject combinations and pathways. And we were also able to engage other stakeholders like Sukul, which was able to analyze for us the data, the student scores in internal assessments, to be able to actually predict which pathways that these children could go into. And together with quality teaching and performance management, because we gave teachers targets, 80% of the learners had to exceed expectation at level 1. We were able to register 89% exceeding expectation amongst our candidates, with the last being at meeting expectation 2. So we celebrate good results for the 2025. Thank you.
Thank you. I think they deserve a clap that they made 89 students to exceeding expectation. Thank you. Clay International, what did you do right?
Thank you. Clay International Secondary School is purely a senior school, so we do not offer the junior school. But that does not mean that we do not interest ourselves with Kpsa results, because even a senior school, understanding what is happening in the junior school gives you leverage to know the kind of the kind of learners that you are supposed to expect. And given our catchment, how we used Kpsa understanding is that it gave us a leverage, because our catchment area had, like Dr. said, students from public schools, which probably had not gone through the laboratory practicals in the junior school. So we prepared ourselves to have a boot camp in the first week after we admitted the learners in the senior school, so that we could bring them up to speed with the areas that they ought to have had practicals, so that as we kickstart the facilitation of learning in senior school, we were in a better position. So that is what we did, but we did not have a Kpsa class per se.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mudoka. Damacrest, what did you do?
As Damacrest School, what we did in the beginning of the year, we decided to look at what we call the SLOs. We took the curriculum designs, that is grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9 work. And let me appreciate Mr. Ouma for training us on curriculum mapping outline, and I can tell you we followed that, and we celebrated at the end of the day. So we decided that every teacher was to use the curriculum design wisely, get the specific learning outcomes, and prepare questions on the same. So we made sure that we covered the grade 7 work and the grade 8 work well. Then when it came to the SBAs and the projects, we made sure that the learners did them well. We equally engaged the parents. And I can say, like in integrated science, the practicals that were being done all the way from grade 7 and 8, I would encourage my colleague teachers not to ignore, because we realized that by the end of the Kpsa, 75% was practical work. So let's not ignore the projects. Let's allow learners to do them. Let's not do it for them. And let's not engage other people from outside to do the projects for the learners. So the teachers were able to prepare questions specifically based on the curriculum. And I can say with that, we did not go wrong. Then for the teaching and learning, we made sure that by the time we were in grade 9, if it is social studies, because that's a learning area that has history, has geography, would divide those lessons, then have the teachers who have specialized in history would cover that part. We also had geography teachers helping us, and we also had the life skills in the same. When it came to integrated science, we'd also divided. The biology work was basically covered by a biology teacher, chemistry the same, and physics the same. So we had manpower, and when the teachers came together, I can say we posted good results. Because if we were to rank, or if we were to do an analysis, having 8 as the highest score, that is EE1, we can say that among our 234 learners, we managed to get a 7.2 over 8, if I was to give the numbers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I believe at Clay International, we had so many issues around Kpsa as children transitioned to your school, that is the senior school. NEC came up with the new technology on OMR. There was also an issue of wrong, misleading analysis that was done by some schools that was quite misleading. And I know this may have affected even your admissions. What do you think are the corrective measures that schools can put in place so that then we have the right information or the assessment is a success?
One thing I'll want to note before I proceed to answer the question, private school, as Dr. mentioned, are way ahead in terms of the information. At Clay, we are very lucky to have a very supportive director. I must give him his flowers, because we were really retooled in the appropriate way, and so we had the information. But in order to have the right admission criteria and get in the right kid, is always good to have the information. And I think for those who are wishing to take a senior school, the first step towards the right admission is having information. We cannot live in isolation. We have to understand what is happening in the junior school. That is one. And the second thing is then to have an opportunity to demystify, even as parents come. Let us not rush to numbers and admitting the learners without them understanding actually what we, as senior school, we offer as an institution. Because we may be limited in terms of a human resource, we may be limited in terms of infrastructure, so we need that information to the parents. And then lastly, when the learners come in, we also need to have a session. Like what we did, we had what we are calling the boot camp. The boot camp is a 1-week period whereby we walk down with the learners to understand what can we be able to offer as Clay International Secondary School, given our resources and given our human resources. That way, then the learner can be able to decide, do I go ahead and pursue my senior education at Clay International Secondary School, or do I seek my education somewhere else? Because that is more important than having the learners. Because if the learner comes and they don't get the right kind of information, then even the admission process is wrong. And even if I may divert a little bit from your question, there is a point that Dr. was talking about, and it interests me so much. The parents have, kind of indoctrinated the kids to believe in a certain way. So as a learning institution, if you have to achieve success, what I believe, and from the retooling, is that you got to demystify that to the learners, for them to realize that, and also, Madam CEO, we cannot, and I think the members will agree with me, we cannot just tell the learners you can only become a lawyer. Because let's pursue that kind of thinking. You have literature, and probably business studies, and you want to become a lawyer, I'm sure when you are exiting senior school, there will be a GPA of some sort. What if you do not meet that GPA to become a lawyer? There are a lot of other options that are offered within that learning area. So I think we should not thin ourselves to that line of thinking that I only become a lawyer. What if it does not happen, given what will be required in high school? So back to your question, I think it is about giving the right information to the right stakeholders so that then they can make a decision whether they want to be admitted in that institution, and then we'll have the right admissions.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Clay International. Then that speaks to great leadership in these institutions, because successful admission can only happen when we are having the correct leadership. I'll go to Mr. Ouma. In your view, what do you believe are the greatest leadership competencies that a head teacher or a principal of a school should have in order to have a successful institution?
Okay, thank you. The first thing that a school principal needs to know is to fully understand the basic education curriculum framework. You know, most of the senior school principals and junior school principals do not really understand how the competence-based education system moves from the lower levels, starting from PP1 all the way to senior school. And that information is very critical. When I joined my current institution, I realized due to that gap, we had a child in grade 5 who had not been registered in the CBA portal. And so understanding of this framework and how the school-based assessments work all the way up to senior school is key, because it will give you knowledge of how to be able to advise the parents and the learners properly. The second thing is knowledge of career, as Dr. Tunde put it. As a principal, as much as you also have the career office, you also need to be at the forefront to understand how the market works, what is marketable out there, and so that you're able to give proper guidance. Most importantly is that you need to understand also the competence-based assessment framework, so that through your progress days, you are able to guide parents properly in terms of how to realize the goals that you've set. But my conversation as now as a consultant throughout the country has been that how do we manage that performance? And I think I've done a paper that principals of schools need to have some knowledge of human resource management. Knowledge of human resource management. Because you realize we tend to, as directors, we tend to see who is this active person running up and down, able to make things done, and who is able to voice out concerns. And then we appoint them as head teachers, not knowing that there is also an aspect of people management. People management now brings in the human resource perspective, and that is the time you realize the staff may rebel and the decisions are not made properly. So that is why we were talking about organizational leadership, which is just at the core of human resource management. And one of the topics under human resource management, other than organizational leadership, is performance management. So you have to know even how to manage people and how to measure their work and how to track them so that they are able to succeed. So centrally, I can put it under effective human resource management skills as key in matters of school management.
Thank you so much, Alan. And you've spoken about something very important about people management. I believe motivation of staff is part of that people management. I will ask Damacrest this question. What at Damacrest do you do to ensure that you have your teachers motivated and engaged?
At Damacrest, let me first acknowledge my director in her absence, because she's self-driven, she's a teacher, she has an educational background, and she believes in the teacher. What we do as an institution, the teacher is really supported. And I can say that as an institution, to make sure that the teacher is effective, we are trained. There is a lot of retouring that goes on in our school, all the way from the ECD teacher to the high school teacher. Then the teachers are well motivated. Every now and then, you'll be taken out even to go and discuss. Like now after the Kpsa results, the teachers are taken out, they go somewhere, they look at the results, and then they discuss. This is like an outing. When it comes to the grade 6, the same. So we handle teams separately. The grade 3 team that is handling the class that is doing ELA, we start planning as early as January, so that by the end of the term, that those teachers know what they're supposed to be doing and they have the work at heart. The same to ECD teachers. We don't mix our teachers. They are motivated differently. They are trained. They're empowered. There's a lot of team building and capacity building for our teachers. And I can tell you that you can see even a grade 4, grade 5 teachers. Whatever happens in an international system, we try to make sure that our teacher can reach that standard by team building and capacity building and appreciating them for the work they do and making sure that they own the teaching and learning process. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Damakris. Probably can have Clay International answer the same question.
I wanted first to say something about leadership, as Mr. Uma had said. Those schools which are here and probably the school heads and you did not have a junior school, one of the biggest leadership qualities you should have is that you should be willing to be literate again. Because with CBE, you may find that you are illiterate. What is illiteracy in this case? You must be willing to unlearn what you know. Then, after you unlearn, you must be willing to relearn. Because the approach of education in the CBE system is quite different. And if you are dogmatic in your approach, then even as a leader, you'll find it very difficult. To the question about motivation of teachers, every teacher, when they come to Clay International Secondary School, my director requests of 3 things. You be a role model, you be a big brother, and the last thing is you be a teacher. Once you do that, you become part of the family. And in family, we motivate each other. But another very big tool of motivation is that at Clay International Secondary School, the teachers are given continuous professional development opportunities, because you cannot get from an empty bucket. It must be full for it to give out, including myself. Madam CEO, anytime you don't see me in the private school conferences, no, it's on my own volition. Because he tells me time and again, you must have information to lead. You cannot feel deficient and then you want to lead. To us, that is the greatest kind of a motivation we get as educators at Clay International Secondary School.
Thank you so much, Clay International. Then, Mr. Alan, this means the current parent is quite empowered. The parent knows what they want. They are seeking for high level of accountability from our institutions. They are also looking for customer satisfaction. Currently, schools or parents are scouting for the best institutions they can admit their children. As a leader of an institution, how do you ensure that customer satisfaction is one or key in your institution?
Okay, thank you for the question. I'll answer this from the context of performance management. Going back to the simple issue of motivation, motivation would strike not just on the staff only, but also the students and even extend to the parents. When you want to motivate teachers or learners or bring satisfaction, you have to put in structures. You don't just wake up and say, I want to award so and so and so and so. You even for the continuous professional development sessions that are being offered, there are those who have to be worth it, because we also tend to know that we have people who waste resources, and therefore, if somebody is showing potential, then they should be able to qualify. But when it comes to matters of satisfaction, if you put up a performance management system in your institution where you are able to track everything that you do, you are able to set clear targets, share that with the parents. For example, I was addressing a parents' meeting on the 17th of January, and I was trying to tell them that for every teacher that I have given a class and a subject to teach, I have told them that 80% of the learners in those classes must exceed expectation by the end of the year. And that whoever is not exceeding expectation should be meeting expectation. So if at all your child is not moving towards the exceeding expectation, then a time has come for you to be able to ask questions and why. And therefore this parent can come and have a sitting with the principal, the teacher, and the parent and the child and see where is the problem and what can we do to be able to uphold that. And we've been able to do this also termly through at least once or twice a year. We do what we call parent satisfaction survey. Parent satisfaction survey can be done online or physically, so that they are able also to tell us how best we can be able to tackle the challenges they are raising, which concerns they need, and even the levels that they also need. In addition to that, conducting small class meetings helps to hold these parents and make them satisfied. So while at times we may do annual general meetings where many parents attend, it is important that at times you break it down to class level. This has worked because at class level, the parents tend to bond very well and understand the work of the teacher. They tend to understand even the challenges that the teachers go through, and sometimes these parents are always willing to even offer ideas and help so that the quality that is required is achieved. So we can be able to engage them severally, but through satisfaction surveys. And normally we say, if the parent cannot score us at 75% satisfaction score, then we have many questions to answer. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ouma. Mr. Ouma has talked something about parental engagement. I've just seen in today's standard that InfoTrack has provided information that there's great dissatisfaction with the current curriculum, that is the CBC. This was a problem that was there some time back when CBC came on board. Parents felt that this curriculum is quite expensive, and therefore they were not ready to embrace. And at that moment, the president then came up with the Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms, who are able to relook the entire curriculum and just see what best can we put into this curriculum to ensure that it is a great success. Damacrest, do we think, according to you, do we think that all is lost as regards to CBC? Or is there any success story that we can pride ourselves in, especially for private schools?
I believe all is not lost, and we are on track. Yes, because since CBE began, I can say we've made great strides, because now we have our first group of Kpsa that have just joined grade 10 in the senior school. And I can say what I have seen that, like in junior school, the private schools, I can say that's an exploration stage. And learners, we've exposed learners to different learning areas. Though I would say that this should start very early. Because when we talk of CBE, we are talking of identifying a child's interest, their passion, and even their ability. So as we begin the journey, as we work together with the teachers and the parents, we are supposed to identify at an early age, what is the child passionate about? Because today, as we are talking about careers, then going to the pathway, then the track and the subject, I believe that journey does not start in grade 10, it does not start in grade 9, it starts all the way in the ECD center. Goes all the way to the lower primary, then the middle, upper, and all that. So I believe all is not lost. And what I love about CBE is one thing, that it takes care of all the children. even those who are abled differently. And like in our school, we do what we call inclusivity. That means any child that is struggling, and you find that this child either has a condition like, let me just name some, like maybe they have ADHD or dyslexia or others, we don't subject them to the other, what we call the age-based curriculum. We subject them to the stage-based curriculum. And you can find that KICD and all the stakeholders, they've taken care of that. So as an institution, those children, we teach them in a normal classroom, then we pull them out with the assistance of the parents. Then at the end of the year, when you're giving the summative assessment, you give them those who are doing Kpsa, you give them an equivalent of Kilea. And then they join now the junior school that is equivalent to what we call a pre-vocational stage. And then in grade 10, we also have them, those who did Kpsa, the equivalent of the same is Kiplea. So I would say for those children, they are well taken care of. So I would encourage my colleague teachers, my colleague heads of institution, that we also look into those children. We also support them, because like the current grade 10, we have like 42 skill-based learning areas that a child can choose from. Like us as Democrats, those that we have selected, they are those who are able differently, and they have their courses, because we have identified the passion, we have identified the interest. So every child in Kenya, if we learn to identify their area of strength and what they are passionate about, I believe, we used to talk about Vision 2030, and right now we are in year 2026, isn't it? So if you look at what was there as we are talking about Vision 2030, we are just about to get there. Because I believe when they were changing and bringing changes in the curriculum, we had that Vision 2030 in mind. And I can tell you that we are already there. So I believe all is not lost. If we have good partnership between the teacher, the parent, and the learner, we can help the students become who they are supposed to become, because every child in this country has a destiny and they have what they are aligned to. So thank you very much. And as I finish, the parents, I would encourage us that it is important in the beginning of a new term, after the learners have settled down, we call the parents, have one-on-one talk, set desks. Let the parent visit the desk of the sciences. Let them set targets with the teacher, and not just with the teacher. The child should be there. So let them discuss the journey of integrated science all the way. Then set a new target, and that is what we did in the beginning of the year. We set target, then every end of the term, we will check against the goals that we set and the far that we have come. So all is not lost. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Sarah. She has clearly outlined for us what can give comfort to our parents to ensure that they bring on board their children to our institutions, and the fact that CBC is indeed a success, and especially in private institution. A parting shot to Mr. Mudhoka. What differentiates you from other institutions around you? What do you think, or what do you believe differentiates you as Clay International from other institutions?
What makes us different as Clay International Secondary School? One is that we may be the most unique institution in this building, because our students study for free. One, because they are sponsored kids. They are the neediest in the society. Credit to our director. But most importantly, what I carry from there, because I'm also a very proud alumni of the institution. That's where I studied before I came back to become a teacher, a deputy, and later a principal. It's family. We teach the virtues of family. To me, that is what is very important about Clay International Secondary School. I can tell you where the 769 students who have graduated from Clay International Secondary School are, what they are doing, even those who never, for choice of not of their own, succeeded in life. That is what we call family.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mudoka. That was very good, that you have created a family where then everyone is embraced. And thank you that you're an alumni. Therefore, you are showing our schools that it is possible for you to groom a child to a level where you have come. Mr. Alan Ouma, what are you doing different? That is your parting shot. What are you doing different at your school that can attract more to come?
I have been a victim of parents moving. It's called nomadic parents, who every year want to move from the school to another school. And around February, they come back. They tell you, Mr. Principal, we need to talk. And what differentiates us from the rest in that region is quality teaching. Quality teaching. And so what we are doing different is to ensure that we roll out a clear performance management system that will be able to track every learner from the time they join our school until they leave. And we are looking out now to partnerships, what Dr. said, even with the education institutions of higher education, so that we are able to also bring our junior school to book in terms of what the world market is as they start choosing their career pathways. And more so, we are looking into changing the mindset of the teachers. At times, you can have teachers in the institution. You want to fly as the principal. You want to take the school places, but the mindset is in the village. So we are working to make sure that we change the mindset of the teachers to go international. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ouma. I know Madam Sarah had clearly outlined what they're doing different, that then would attract more children to your institutions or more parents to your institution. In your view, what do you believe is the support that private schools require, especially from the Ministry of Education and also the association?
I believe private schools need to be supported, supported and appreciated even by the government, because they are an alternative. They are offering the same education, just like the government is doing. So I believe that when the private schools speak out, they should be listened to, because they are doing good work on the ground. So Kenya Private School Association should also continue forging forward. I am a product of this association. I don't think I've missed very few trainings, and I can say I've been trained in this institution, in this association, in matters, even examination setting, moderation, so I can say I'm a beneficiary. So the association should continue supporting teacher training, retouring, as well as empowering the directors in the institution, because what the private schools are doing, they're doing a great work. So basically that is what I would say. And for Democrest, just to use this platform, we are doing a good job out there. In both senior school, we have children who have transited from junior school to our senior school. So those who would want the boarding option, we have one. Those who want the day option, we were talking of the hybrid when we started, that schools that would have a boarding wing and a day wing. So Democrest is offering that, and quality teaching is going on and very affordable. Thank you.
Asanteni sana. I want to appreciate all my panelists for coming and also for sharing your knowledge with our head teachers. We believe then when they go back to our schools, we have learned a lot and we are going to implement all that we have discussed today. Asanteni sana. Tupigie makofi.